Hi Year 3, welcome to your final maths lesson this week. Well done on all your hard work so far. So, yesterday we were looking at whether a number was divisible by 4 or not. And can you remember how we knew, without working it out, how did we know that a number was divisible by 4? What was that rule that I kept banging on about in yesterday's video? Can you remember? Yes, I said if a number was divisible by 4, when you halved it, it was an even number. Okay, so today we're going to do very similar activities, but this time we're going to be deciding whether numbers are divisible by 8 or not. Now, knowing what we know about whether it's divisible by 4, halving it, is it an even number? What do you think is the rule for whether it is divisible by 8 or not? What do you think? Perhaps pause the video and think. Think about what we know about the 4 and 8 times tables and whether there is a rule that relates to the one that we learned yesterday that could help us figure out whether a number is divisible by 8, whether it's a multiple of 8, whether it's in the 8 times tables. What do you think? Okay, I'll tell you. So, if it's divisible by 4, it is halved and then you get an even number. If it is divisible by 8, when you half it not once but twice, then you get an even number. Okay, that's how you know it's divisible by 8. So, let's have a look at 16, a number that we already know is divisible by 8. And let's just see that that rule is actually true, is the right thing. So, half of 16 is 8. Half of 8, so half it again, is 4. Now, what did I say? I said, if a number is divisible by 8, then when you half it twice, it is an even number. We halved it once, we halved it twice. Is it an even number? Yes, it is. So it must be divisible by 8. Not forgetting, when we halved it, it was still an even number, so it is both divisible by 4 and by 8. Does that make sense? Hopefully so. Let's have a look at a different number then. I'm going to swap colours, changing across the blue. Let's have a look at 80. Okay, let's half it. 40. Half it again. 20. When we halved it twice, once, twice, was it an even number? Yes, it was. So that must mean it's divisible by 8 and by 4. Okay? Let's try 100. Okay? What is half of 100? You should be thinking 50. And what's half of 50? 25. So, is it divisible by 4? When we halved it, was it an even number? Yes, it was. When we halved it again, was it an even number? Oh, no, it was not. So, is it divisible by 8? No, it is not. So, I'm going to leave that one blank. It's not divisible by 8 because when I halved it twice, it was an odd number. Okay? Let's go again. So, 184. Gosh, these numbers are getting big now, but this is an easy way to see whether it is divisible by 4 or divisible by 8. So, let's half it. You might need a scrap of paper here to partition and work it out as we did yesterday, or you might just know it. Half of 18 tens is 9 tens, and half of 4 is 2. So half is 92. Now we need to half it again. Half of 92, oh I know half of 90 is 45, add half of 2 is 46. Now, when I halved it, was it an even number? Yes, it was. When I halved it again, was it an even number? Yes, it was. So it must be divisible by both 4 and 8. Okay, next one. 237. Let's half it. Oh, hang on a minute. How are we going to half that one? What's the problem here? It's an odd number, so of course it is not divisible by 4 or 8, so you can leave that one blank. 306 now, last one to finish off. Half is half of 300 first of all, 150. Add on half of the 6, 153. Half it again. What's the problem here? Odd number. So, remember the rule, for if it's divisible by 4, it should be an even number. So is it divisible by 4? No. We cannot half it again, so it cannot be a multiple of 8 or divisible by 8. Okay, remember when I say multiple, it means a number in that times table. Divisible is very similar. Okay, if it's divisible by 8, it's also in the 8 times tables. Okay, so you have a very similar table to this to fill in. So half and half it again if you can. Follow the rules that we've discussed in this video and tell me whether it is thus divisible by 4 and divisible by 8. Then you have some further questions to complete where you're required to work with those 8s a little bit more, become even more familiar with those 8s and those numbers that are divisible by 8. Not easy today, okay, so keep going, do as much as you can, and I look forward to seeing how you get on. Remember to let me know on that traffic light indicator how you're getting on, okay? See you soon.